to say, beginning with Ed Heaton, who says Bertha Newman in place of Truex is good and just. But giving Jeff Gordon, the second victim of the MWR shenanigans, Bowyer's berth would have been even better. Brian McGee writes, the 15 car needed to be hit with a points penalty large enough that it would prevent it from competing for the championship. If you think people were raising hell about Richmond in September, imagine what it will be like if Bowyer wins the Cup in November. And Marty Smith wrote, if you're going to levy a penalty that hurts. They did that to Truex, not to Bowyer. Otherwise, it's semantics. And if I'm Jeff Gordon, I'm pissed. Quite frankly, I'm shocked NASCAR reacted. I didn't think they would, but they had to. Had they not reacted swiftly and harshly, the WWE stereotypes gain credibility and the sport loses it. Time now to welcome in Ricky Craven on the issue. We want you to answer the same question, Ricky. Was justice served?
I believe it was, Mike. I woke up Monday morning. Mid-morning had a conversation with Mike Kelton. When I hung up the phone, I trusted that Mike and Roger Pemberton and the entire staff at NASCAR were going to spend the time and put the effort into making a solid, legitimate decision. So anyway, what we got from now, I thought was very healthy. I know Jeff Gordon fans would dispute it. I'm sure Jeff Gordon has a bad taste in his mouth. But to the degree that NASCAR could control what happened Saturday night based on evidence, I think they did all they could do. Now, there's another component to it, and that is Clint Bowyer, MWR, they got to roll into the garage on Friday. And I think at that point, that's another level of punishment, if you will, or, there's going to be some opinions. And, I don't think it gets any easier.
Ricky, you talk about the bad taste that Jeff Gordon may have in his mouth now moving forward. How do you expect Jeff to race Clint in the coming races?
Well, Mike, NASCAR can control a big part of the sport, and that's their responsibility. And to that end, I think they did that. Now, there's a percentage of it that has to be policed by the athletes, and that exists in every single sport. And you see it in baseball, where a pitcher will retaliate against a hitter. You see it in all sports. So in this sport, if a driver feels like something was taken from him, he'll probably get it back. And that's not a prediction. That's based on 25 years behind the wheel.
All right, there's been lots of talk of the quote-unquote ripple effect. Do you see any more of that down the road?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Clint Bowyer is a really popular driver and a very good driver. And regardless of which side of this you're on, it's a negative because it's just very unhealthy for the organization, and they've suffered quite a price in the court of public opinion. The greatest thing for Clint Bowyer is when he straps a helmet in on Friday. Okay, that's really where I think it takes in terms of page. Now, is the book closed? Is it over? I don't know. We won't know. It depends on how all this is handled. Some by Clint show some humility. Michael Waltrip Racing showing some humility. But I do agree with Clint on this, that he's been paying the price here the last few days.
Yeah, and it's a pretty heavy price in the sense of
and he should be.
Into the first race of the chase. Can this team effectively put that behind them and focus on what they need to do?
Ooh, that's a tough one because you've heard me say, Mike, distraction is poison. So this is the worst case scenario for a team going into the first round of the playoffs. Well, I say this, if Clint Bowyer can win the championship, it's pretty impressive. That speaks to his level of focus, his ability to eliminate distraction. And some are going to argue, should he deserve to win the championship? Well, yeah, I think, he's in the chase. He's one of 10 drivers that earned their way in.
He didn't earn his way in.
Yes, I certainly think you have a strong argument against that. But, it's pretty compelling that he had a good season and earned his way into the chase.
Not a long shot to believe that they can contend for this championship. If he does win it, how do you think people will react?
Well, I think that he has to win people back. And part of that is showing some humility. I like some of the things that Clint has said in the last 24 hours, that you got to be able to move on, learn from your mistakes, You can't live life in the rearview mirror. You have to look through the front windshield. Now, saying it's one thing. Most importantly, actions speak louder than words. So let's demonstrate. Again, it's a credibility issue. And without credibility, you're going to get treated differently on the racetrack. I can guarantee you that. Drivers will treat you differently if you don't have the credibility and their confidence.
Real quick, on the subject of credibility, how much credibility does Michael Waltrip and his organization have right now?
They have a lot of work to do, and I think it's important that they continue down the path that they are. It doesn't appear as though they're going to appeal. I think that was a smart decision because it helps them get this in the rearview mirror. And then they just need to continue to do what they've done. They've been an asset to the sport. You have to certainly be impressed with what they've done in a pretty short period of time, but it's been shrouded by controversy for sure.
All right, Ricky, good stuff today. We appreciate your time, and certainly we appreciate Clint Bowyer dropping by our set to talk about a subject I'm sure he's feeling a little uncomfortable talking about at this point in time. Folks, we encourage you to join us again tomorrow.